The first time John noticed the puppy, it was raining, and the tiny German Shepherd was sitting in the middle of the sidewalk, completely still, as if it was waiting for someone who would never come back. John almost walked past him, just like everyone else did. But something about those eyes. They did not beg, they did not cry, they just watched him quietly, deeply, like they already knew him. John was a mail carrier, walking the same streets every day. Same houses, same routine, same silence. Life had become predictable after everything he had lost, and maybe that was the only way he could keep going. He did not have space for anything new, not even a dog, not even a moment of distraction. But that day, as he continued walking, he heard soft footsteps behind him, light but persistent, and when he turned around, the puppy was there. "Go home, buddy," John muttered gently, waving his hand, but the puppy did not move away. It just tilted its head ears slightly back, like it did not understand the idea of leaving. John sighed and kept walking, assuming the little one would give up after a few steps. But he did not. That day, the puppy followed him for 2 blocks, then disappeared. John thought that was the end of it, just a strange moment in an ordinary day. But the next morning, as he stepped onto the same street, the puppy was there again, sitting in the exact same spot, waiting. It did not take long for this to become a pattern, something John could not ignore anymore. Every single day at the same time, the puppy would appear, and every single day he would follow John quietly through his route. He never barked, never caused trouble, just walked a few steps behind, like a shadow that refused to fade. At first, John tried to push him away. He changed his route, once even walked faster, hoping the puppy would get tired. But no matter what he did, the little dog always found him again. And slowly, without even realizing it, John stopped trying so hard to get rid of him. Instead, he started talking. "Why do you keep following me, huh?" he would say, half smiling, though there was something heavier behind it. The puppy would simply look up at him, tail giving a small, careful wag like he did not want to be too hopeful. That kind of quiet loyalty. It was unfamiliar, and it made John uncomfortable in ways he could not explain. One afternoon, John finally crouched down and let the puppy come closer. His fur was damp and thin, his body too small for his breed. But his eyes, they were full of something strong, something that refused to give up. John reached out and gently scratched behind his ear, and for a moment the puppy leaned into his hand like he had been waiting his whole life for that touch. That night, John could not stop thinking about him, because deep down he knew this was not just a random dog. Days turned into weeks, and the puppy never missed a single day. Rain or cold, it did not matter. He was always there, always waiting, always following. John started bringing a little food in his bag, pretending it was just temporary, just until the dog stopped showing up. But the truth was, he was beginning to look forward to those quiet footsteps behind him. Still, something felt strange. The puppy never tried to leave with John, never followed him all the way home. As soon as John reached the end of his route, the dog would stop, sit down, and just watch him walk away. Every single time. No whining, no running after him, just watching. One evening, John decided to test something. Instead of finishing his route and heading back, he turned around suddenly and started walking in the opposite direction. The puppy froze for a second, then quickly moved ahead, leading the way instead of following. John's chest tightened. They walked in silence, turning corners John had never taken before, until they reached an old abandoned house at the edge of the neighborhood. The puppy stopped at the gate, sat down, and looked at John. His eyes filled with something deeper than before, something heavy. John felt a strange sense of unease as he stepped closer. The gate was slightly open and the yard looked untouched, like no one had been there in a long time. And yet, the puppy stayed, as if this place meant everything. John slowly pushed the gate open, the rusty hinges letting out a low creak that echoed in the silence. The puppy walked in first. His movements calm but purposeful, like he had done this many times before. John followed, his heart beating faster with every step, though he did not know why. Inside the yard, near the porch, there was a small wooden box. It was not much, just a simple, weathered structure, but it was carefully placed, almost protected. The puppy walked up to it and sat beside it, lowering his head slightly. That was the moment something inside John shifted. He stepped closer and noticed a collar resting on top of the box. The name engraved on it made his breath catch. Max. John whispered the name without thinking, and the puppy immediately looked up, ears alert, eyes shining with recognition. But it was not just the name, it was what came with it. A memory sharp and painful, crashing back into his mind. Months ago, there had been a man on his route, an older man who lived alone. He used to wait by the door every morning with his dog, a strong German shepherd named Max. They would always greet John, always smiling, always together. Then one day they were gone. John had heard the man had passed away suddenly, and the house had been abandoned ever since. His eyes moved slowly from the collar to the puppy sitting beside it. And that was when it hit him. This was not just any puppy. This was Max's son. John dropped to his knees, his hands trembling as the truth settled deep into his chest. The puppy was not following him randomly. He was following the only person who had ever been part of his father's world after everything fell apart. The only familiar face left in a life that had suddenly become empty. "You have been waiting all this time," John whispered, his voice breaking. The puppy moved closer, gently pressing his small head against John's hand, like he understood every word, like he had been carrying this silent pain alone. No barking, no cries, just quiet loyalty day after day. Hoping, waiting. John closed his eyes, and for the first time in a long time, he allowed himself to feel everything he had been holding back. Loss, loneliness, regret, and something else too. Connection. Because in that moment he realized something simple but powerful. They were both alone. And maybe they did not have to be anymore. John took a deep breath and looked at the puppy. Really looked this time, not as a burden, not as a distraction, but as someone who had chosen him again and again without hesitation. "Come on, Max," he said softly, a faint smile breaking through his tears. "Let's go home." The puppy's tail wagged for the first time, without hesitation, full and certain, and as they walked away from that empty house together, something new began. Not just a bond between a man and a dog, but a quiet promise that no matter how broken life feels, love always finds a way back. Sometimes it just follows you until you are ready to see it. Subscribe for the next story so you don't miss it.